Hello, friends. Welcome to Creative Medicine. In this lecture, we will learn about.
Hello friends. Now let us continue this. So let us see all the what do we say attachments of ileum first. Okay, all the muscle attachments and every attachment that we have to learn about the ileum we'll learn today. Okay, let me draw the ileum again, the hip bone again actually. Okay, so first I'll be drawing this multiple times so that it becomes easier for us. Right, so this is one side hip bone. Okay, so first if you see the upper end of the hip bone, see ilium. In the hip bone, first you will see about the ilium. So see, I should draw the obturator foramen also. So this is the obturator foramen. This is the acetabulum. And I'll draw the opposite side, that is the inner surface also. So inner surface looks something like this. Please bear with me, I'm not a great artist, but still. Okay. Now this is the tuberosity. This is the obturator foramen. Okay. This is the division of ischium and ilium. Here this is the division. Okay. So first we will see about the ilium. Okay. In the ilium, if you see, ilium has upper end, lower end. Okay. Ilium has two things. One, it has the upper end. The other, it has the lower end. Okay. If you see the upper end, in the upper end, it is represented as curved part, which is called as iliac crest. I said that this is known as iliac crest. So one important, one liner about iliac crest is at which level do you see this iliac crest? Iliac crest is found at the level of between L3, L4 vertebrae. It is present between L3, L4 vertebrae. Okay, so that is about iliac crest. Now, iliac crest, if you see in the horizontal plane, it is concave inwards and it is convex posteriorly. Anteriorly it is concave, whereas posteriorly this iliac crest is convex. Okay, it has anterior end and posterior end. Anterior end of iliac crest has anterior superior iliac spine and posterior end has posterior superior iliac spine. Okay. Now the important things are the attachments of this iliac spine. Okay. To the anterior iliac spine there is attachment of lateral end of inguinal ligament. So first to the anterior iliac spine there is attachment of lateral end of inguinal ligament. Lateral end of inguinal ligament is attached to the anterior end of anterior superior iliac spine, and below it if you see there is attachment of uh, sartorius. Below this there is sartorius attachment. Okay, so these are the two attachments which you see in the anterior superior iliac spine. Then about posterior superior iliac spine. In the posterior superior iliac spine, there is attachment of a ligament. At the posterior superior iliac spine, there is mainly attachment of a ligament. Okay, ligament I'll always show with green. Okay, so this ligament is sacrotuberous ligament. This is sacrotuberous ligament. Okay, this is present in, this is attached to posterior superior iliac spine. Okay, now if you see, this is iliac crest. Okay, this iliac crest has two surfaces, one which is ventral surface, the other it is dorsal surface. We have two surfaces of iliac crest, one which is ventral surface and the other which is dorsal surface. Okay, then in the ventral surface is nothing but anterior 2/3 and posterior 1/3 is dorsal segment. Okay, so this is anterior side. Here anterior 1/3 is nothing but ventral. anterior 2/3 actually. It is ventral, whereas posterior 1/3, that is dorsal. Okay, now in this ventral segment you have an outer lip, intermediate lip, inner lip. See, this I am just drawing it here. Okay, so that part I am drawing it here. So if you see, so this is the iliac crest. Okay, so this iliac crest, if you see, it has a ventral segment. Okay, this is the ventral segment of iliac crest. Ventral segment or anterior 2/3 of iliac crest. Okay, so this is anterior superior iliac spine. It should be like this. Okay, it won't have sharp edges. Okay, now to this ventral segment you have three parts. What do you have? You have an outer lip, so this is the outer lip. Okay, you have intermediate area also. You have an outer lip, you have an intermediate area. Okay, and you have an inner lip also. You have an outer lip, inner lip, and intermediate area. Now to the outer lip, what are the following, which structures are attached to the outer lip? If you see, in the outer lip there is attachment of one tensor fascia lata. Okay, tensor, to this outer lip you have tensor fascia lata attachment. Because it is a fascia, I am drawing it with this color. Okay, I'll do one thing, I'll just draw this again because it becomes clumsier if I label it over there. So it is like this, right? Now this is the outer lip, this is the outer lip, this is the inner lip, this is the intermediate area. So in the outer lip, first you have, the first part is tensor fascia lata. Okay, this is tensor fascia lata. Tensor fascia lata. Okay, then after tensor fascia lata you have muscle insertion. Okay, insertion of external oblique aponeurosis is present in anterior 2/3 of outer lip. So if you see, in the outer lip anterior 2/3 you will have this muscle, which is external oblique muscle. This is external oblique. Okay, it is 2/3. Okay, portion you'll have external oblique, and after external oblique you have, in the rest of the portion, here behind it you will have latissimus dorsi insertion. Latissimus dorsi. Okay, so all these are present in, that is latissimus dorsi, external oblique, and external tensor fascia lata. All these are present in outer lip of ventral segment of iliac crest. Okay, so what is this? This is mainly iliac crest. So in the iliac crest, that too in the ventral segment, in the outer lip you have these. Then what about the intermediate area? What is present in intermediate area? Intermediate area, in the whole extent you see internal oblique aponeurosis. This I am drawing, which I am drawing here. This one is internal oblique muscle insertion. Okay, that is seen in intermediate lip. In the intermediate lip you see internal oblique muscle, intermediate area. Okay, then what about the inner lip? See, inner lip again, it has different parts. Okay, inner lip, if you see, in the inner lip you have anterior 2/3, you have transversus abdominis. Okay, you have anterior 2/3, you have transversus abdominis. Okay, then if you see posterior 1/3, you have quadratus lumborum. So what do you have? Insertions of, you have, oh shit, this external oblique, this is not insertion. External obliques, it is origin. Okay, only this external obliques origin, the rest all are insertions. Okay, that is one thing which you have to remember. Sorry, I'm wrong with this. Now here you have, in the inner lip you have transverse abdominis insertion. Okay, and you have even quadratus lumborum. This is quadratus lumborum in the posterior 1/3. Quadratus lumborum. See, transversus abdominis is present in anterior 2/3, whereas quadratus lumborum is present in posterior 1/3 of inner lip of ventral segment of iliac crest. Okay, now what about the dorsal segment? So this hole which you are seeing is about ventral segment, right? Now what do you see in dorsal segment? In dorsal segment you have two things. One, you have outer sloping surface, and the other you have inner sloping surface. Okay, this is outer sloping surface, this is inner sloping surface. So what do you see in this outer sloping and inner sloping surface? If you see in the first, in the outer sloping surface you have gluteus maximus, and in the inner sloping surface you have erector spinae. So in the outer sloping surface you have gluteus maximus is present. It is present in the outer sloping surface. It is present in outer sloping surface. You see this gluteus maximus, and you even have erector spinae. Okay, where is this erector spinae present? This erector spinae is mainly present in inner sloping surface. Okay, so what are all this outer and inner sloping surface? This is in the dorsal segment of iliac crest. Okay, now we have learnt about the iliac crest, what are there. Okay, now once we have learnt about the iliac crest, now in the ischium you have to see what is present in the lower end of ischium. So this is the lower end of ischium. Lower end of ischium has nothing but it has acetabulum. So this is acetabulum is present in the lower end of ischium. Okay, that too, which part of acetabulum? Upper 2/5 of acetabulum. It forms upper 2/5 of acetabulum. Next about the borders. So these are two surfaces, two ends actually. You have the upper end, you have the lower end. Upper end you have iliac crest and its muscles. Lower end you have this. Now about the borders of ilium. Borders, you have anterior border, you have posterior border. Okay, and then you have iliac crest obviously. Okay, so in the anterior border you have anterior superior iliac spine. Then okay, I'll have to write the attachments also, so I'll draw this diagram again so that it becomes easier. Okay, I'll draw this here again. Okay, I'll draw only one part, not the both of them. Okay, so I'm drawing the upper end, outer surface only, not the inner surface. So if you see, it's okay, I'm just drawing the outer surface, but I'm not drawing the complete one. This is the acetabulum. Okay, it has first anterior border. In the anterior border, it has one anterior superior iliac spine, and it has anterior inferior iliac spine. To the anterior inferior iliac spine, there are two attachments which are seen. One, there is rectus femoris attachment, insertion of rectus femoris, and there is insertion of iliofemoral ligament. So to the anterior superior iliac spine, there is insertion of rectus femoris muscle and also iliofemoral ligament, and there is insertion of iliofemoral ligament. Where are both these present? Both these are present in anterior inferior iliac spine. Okay, this is about the anterior border. So these both are seen in the anterior border, okay, which is anterior superior iliac spine and anterior inferior iliac spine. Then we have posterior border also. If you see posterior border of ilium, what do you see in the posterior border of ilium? In the posterior border of ilium, you see posterior superior iliac spine, which is the posterior end, posterior upper end of posterior border of ilium, and you have posterior inferior iliac spine. Okay, and what do you see between posterior superior iliac spine and posterior posterior superior iliac spine and posterior inferior iliac spine? And below this posterior inferior iliac spine, you have this notch which is called as, what is this called? It is called greater sciatic notch. Okay, greater sciatic notch is present here. Okay, now after that, if you see Then we also have ischial spine. See here, you see ischial spine. Okay, ischial spine you will see in the ischium anyways. Then after that, if you see, you will have a medial border also. Okay, what is this medial border? Medial border extends downwards, forwards and medially from the iliac crest to the iliopubic eminence. Okay, anyways we can't show it in this diagram, so that's okay. Then you will have to know about the surfaces of ilia. So we have learned about, there is also medial border. I'll just write here because if any question is asked, it will become easier. Okay, there will be medial border also. Okay, so this medial border, okay, let me draw this medial border also, but not clearly, but I can give you an idea. Okay, I'll draw in the other one, the other diagram. You can see the medial border. Just a minute. Okay, see, 1 minute. Yeah, so here this is the hip bone. It is in the inner surface. In the inner surface you can see the medial border. Okay, so here you will have a medial border. So this is the medial border. This is the auricular surface, as I have already shown you in the last picture. So if you see, this is the medial border. What does this medial border do? This medial border actually, it separates the iliac fossa. So this is iliac fossa. It separates the iliac fossa and also sacropelvic surface. So this is sacropelvic surface and the iliac fossa are mainly separated by this medial border. Okay, the lower 1/3 of the medial border forms an acute line. Okay, next about the ischial spine. I will show it here itself. So this is the ischial spine. Okay, this ischial spine is mainly crossed from lateral to median by the following things. So if you see in the ischial spine, this is crossed from lateral to medial side. It is crossed from lateral to medial side by the following structures, that is pudendal nerve and internal pudendal vessels, pudendal nerve, internal pudendal vessels and nerve to obturator internus. See, all these will cross the ischial spine, that is pudendal nerve, nerve to obturator internus and internal pudendal vessels. Now we will learn about the surfaces. Surfaces, if you see, this is iliac fossa. So iliac fossa is a shallow concave surface. Okay, this actually gives rise to the muscle iliacus in the upper 2/3. Iliacus muscle, is it insertion or what do you think? Does it insert or does it arise? It inserts. Okay, iliacus muscle gives rise. Okay, there is iliacus muscle. Okay, this is iliacus muscle is present in the iliac fossa, that too in the upper 2/3. So this is the iliacus muscle. So I'll just write it. Okay, so here there will be, this is iliacus muscle that is present in the upper 2/3 of iliac fossa. Okay, then after this iliac fossa we have gluteal surface also. So this is the iliac fossa. Okay, right? And there is one more ligament also here, which is called as iliolumbar ligament, which is present beside this iliac fossa. iliacus muscle. Okay, so this is the ligament which is called as iliolumbar ligament. Okay, so this is inner surface. Now I'll draw the outer surface also. Okay, so just a minute. See, I'll draw the outer surface. Yeah, in the outer surface you have, this is the gluteal surface. Okay, in the gluteal surface, this gluteal surface is divided into 4 areas by 3 gluteal lines. This is the first gluteal line, there is second gluteal line, and there is third gluteal line. Okay, so with the help of these 3 gluteal lines, the gluteal surface is divided into 3 parts. Okay, let me name the gluteal line. The first gluteal line is the posterior gluteal line. This is the posterior gluteal line which meets the dorsal surface of iliac crest. Okay, this is the dorsal surface of iliac crest. So this is the posterior gluteal line. Okay, this is posterior gluteal line. Okay, what do we call this one as? This is called as middle, or if you see, anterior. Actually, this is the anterior gluteal line. Okay, this anterior gluteal line will meet the tubercle of the iliac crest. It is close to the tubercle of the iliac crest. Okay, so if you see this posterior gluteal line, it meets the dorsal segment of iliac crest. Dorsal segment. Okay, it meets the dorsal segment of iliac okay, iliac crest. Then we have anterior gluteal line. This anterior gluteal line, it is close to the tubercle of iliac crest. It is close to the tubercle of iliac crest. Okay, then we have inferior gluteal line. Okay, this inferior gluteal line, this meets the anterior inferior iliac spine. Maybe these can ask, they can ask in matches the following. That is the reason why I wrote them also. Okay, now what about the muscles? The muscles are, there are mainly 4 muscles. This gives rise to 4 different muscles. One, this is posterior gluteal line, right? So behind the posterior gluteal line, okay, here behind the posterior gluteal line, it gives a group of a muscle which is gluteus maximus. Okay, then between the anterior and posterior gluteal line, it gives rise to gluteus medius. Okay, then between the anterior and inferior gluteal line, it gives rise to gluteus minimus. Okay, this is gluteus minimus. Gluteus maximus, gluteus medius, and gluteus minimus. And we have in the upper margin of the acetabulum, okay, in the upper margin just above the acetabulum, there is, it gives rise to rectus femoris. Okay, this is for rectus femoris. Let me label it. So before the posterior gluteal line, here we have gluteus maximus. Okay, between the anterior and posterior gluteal line, we have gluteus medius. Okay, then between the anterior and inferior gluteal line, you have gluteus minimus. Okay, and above the acetabulum you have rectus femoris. That too, which head? Reflected head of rectus femoris. Reflected head of rectus femoris is present in the upper margin of acetabulum. Upper margin of acetabulum. Okay, so this is one thing which you have to remember. Okay, these muscles are important in surgery. Now, after this, origins, sorry, all these are origins. Okay. Okay, now after this, if you see, we have the next surface which is called as sacropelvic surface. Okay, this is the outer surface again. See, all these muscles which we are talking about, all these are origins of the muscles, not the insertions of this muscle. Okay. So now let us learn about the sacropelvic surface. So let me label it also. So this is iliac fossa. This diagram is about the iliac fossa muscles. Okay. This diagram is about the gluteal surface muscles. That is muscle attachment and insertion, everything about gluteal surface, this diagram. And then we have sacropelvic surface. Okay. Let me actually draw this sacropelvic surface. Okay. So if you see, I am drawing the inner side, inner surface, because inner surface only you will see the sacropelvic surface. Okay, this is the median border, and if you see, this is the obturator foramen. Now if you see, this is what is the surface? This is the sacropelvic surface, is this one. This surface is sacropelvic surface. So what are you going to see in the sacropelvic surface? In the sacropelvic surface you will see two main things. One is you will see the articular surface. Obviously this is the articular surface. Then in front of the articular surface, what are you going to see? See, in front of the articular surface, it mainly has two things. One, it is articular surface in front, and there is tuberosity of ilium behind. So this is the tuberosity of ilium, and this is articular surface. Okay. Now this is the tuberosity of ilium. This is the articular surface. Now this iliac tuberosity is a rough area. Okay, and it has attachment to three ligaments. Okay, let me draw the three ligaments first, then we will see. Okay, first ligament is dorsal iliac ligament. It has attachments to dorsal sacroiliac ligament. Okay, this is dorsal sacroiliac ligament. Then it also gives attachment to interosseous sacroiliac ligament. This is interosseous sacroiliac ligament, and this is interosseous sacroiliac ligament. It also gives attachment to iliolumbar ligament. So see, these are the three ligaments which it gives attachment to. Okay, let me label them. So you have, it gives attachment to three ligaments. One, iliolumbar ligaments. Okay, then we have dorsal sacroiliac ligament. This is dorsal sacroiliac ligament. We have iliolumbar ligament. We have dorsal sacroiliac ligament. Then we also have, this is interosseous sacroiliac ligament. This is interosseous sacroiliac ligament. Interosseous sacroiliac ligament. So iliolumbar ligament, dorsal sacroiliac ligament, and interosseous sacroiliac ligament. So all these are attached to iliac tuberosity. Okay, so this is iliac tuberosity. So this is, all these are attached to iliac tuberosity. Okay, then we also have one more thing which is called as auricular surface. So this is auricular surface. What does this auricular surface do? As the name says, this auricular surface will provide surface for articulation of sacrum to form sacroiliac joint. Now after this is the inner surface, right? Then what about the pelvic part of sacropelvic surface do? Actually the pelvic part will give attachment to obturator internus. Okay, it gives attachment to obturator internus in most of the surface. Okay, that is done. So we have learned about the ilium now. Now about the ischium, everything which we can learn about ischium and its attachments. Okay, if you see ischium you have, ischium has two things. It has body, then it has upper and first it has body and it has ramus. As I have already said, ischium has a body and it has ramus. Okay, so let me draw one surface, and then we will see what are the important muscles and everything which we can learn. Okay, so first I'll draw the ischium. See, I'll draw the whole hip bone. See, this is the only one which takes lots of time. The rest all will be easier when compared to this. Okay, now this is the obturator foramen, and this is the acetabular surface, and then if you just put it like this, it is like this. Okay, now, so where is ischium? So this is the ischium, right? This part is the ischium. Now what are you going to see in ischium? Ischium is the upper end. See, in the body, this is the body of ischium you have. This is the ramus of ischium. So let me draw. This is the body of ischium. Okay, this is the ramus of ischium. Okay, this is the ischium, and this is the ischium. Okay, in the ischium you'll have body of ischium and you'll have ramus of ischium. Now, in the body of ischium you have the upper end of the body of ischium and you have the lower end of body of ischium. Okay, if you see the upper end, okay, this is the upper end of body of ischium. Okay, this upper end of body of ischium, it will form, number one, it will form posterior 2/5 of acetabulum. It forms posterior 2/5 of acetabulum, and it also combines or joins with, that is one, and it joins with ilium and also the pubis. Okay, that is about the upper end. Now if you see the lower end of the body of ischium, it is here. Okay, the lower end of the body of ischium has, mainly it forms the ischial tuberosity. Okay, it forms the ischial tuberosity. Lower end, it forms mainly the ischial tuberosity, and once, see, this is the ischial tuberosity. Okay, lower end, it forms the ischial tuberosity. So this which we are doing here, this is ischial tuberosity, is seen in the lower end of body. Lower end of body has ischial tuberosity. So shall I will magnify this ischial tuberosity part so that it becomes easier for us. Okay, I will magnify it here. Okay, so this is bigger, right? So we have the ischial tuberosity. So this is how you see the ischial tuberosity. Almost. Okay, this ischial tuberosity, it mainly provides origin to two muscles. Okay, see, this ischial tuberosity is a rough area. Okay, and it is divided by a horizontal ridge. There is a horizontal ridge, and this horizontal ridge will divide the ischial tuberosity into the upper quadrilateral part and lower triangular area. Okay, so this is the horizontal ridge, and this divides upper quadrilateral part. This is horizontal ridge, it divides upper quadrilateral part and lower triangular part. Okay, then I will again draw this here. Okay, now this is the ischial tuberosity, and you have a horizontal part. Okay, now the upper quadrilateral part is subdivided by an oblique ridge into upper lateral and lower medial parts. So it is again divided by a oblique ridge. So this is the oblique ridge which divides. Oblique ridge. Okay, and this divides into two parts. One is upper lateral. So this is upper lateral part, and this is lower medial part. Okay, then the lower triangular part. Okay, this lower triangular part is subdivided by a longitudinal ridge into outer and inner parts. So we have outer part and we have inner part. So these outer and inner parts are the parts of triangular part, and if you see the upper lateral and lower upper lateral and lower medial, both these are about quadrilateral part. Okay, this is about ischial tuberosity. Now there are muscles attached to these parts also. Okay, now we'll have to learn about the muscles attached to these parts. So just a minute. Now let me draw it again. So I'll draw it a little bigger now, because this is very important. Many questions have been asked on this topic. Okay, so this is the ridge, median ridge. Okay, this is the oblique part. Okay, and this is the longitudinal part. Okay, now we have the upper lateral area, lower medial area, we have the outer area, and you have the inner area. Okay, now we will see the muscles and their origins. Okay, mostly origins. So which muscles? See here in the lateral part of upper quadrangular area, here you have this muscle. What is this muscle called? It is called as membranosus. We have semimembranosus muscle. Okay, where is it originates from? Originates from the upper lateral part of quadrangular area. Okay, quadrangular area. Then the next muscle is in the lower medial part of quadrangular area. If you see, this is the semitendinosus muscle. One part is semitendinosus muscle, this part, and you have one more part which has long head of biceps. Okay, semitendinosus with long head of biceps. Semitendinosus with long head of biceps. You have it in upper medial part. You have it in upper medial part of quadrangular area. In the upper medial part of quadrangular area, you have semitendinosus part and you have long head of biceps also. Next, after this we have the next origin, which is called as abductor head origin, abductor magnus origin. So this is here, if you see in the outer lip, this is the outer lip of lower triangular area, you have adductor magnus origin. You have adductor magnus in the ischial head of adductor magnus. Okay, in the ischial head of adductor magnus, this originates in outer part of lower triangular area. Outer part of lower triangular area has adductor magnus. Then what about the inner part? What does it has? The inner part of lower triangular area has nothing but it has fat. So here you see fibrofatty tissue. Here you see fibrofatty tissue is seen. Where is it? It is in, this is outer, this is inner, that is outer, this is inner part of lower triangular area. Okay, so this is about the ischial tuberosity. Now, once we have learned about the ischial tuberosity, then we will have to see the borders, okay, of ischium. So let me draw this again. Okay, I'll draw the inner surface. Okay, I'm drawing the inner surface. This is the medial border of ileum. Okay, now you are drawing, this is the ischium. Okay, in the ischium, so the next into the borders, if you see, you have an anterior border. Okay, anterior border forms the posterior margin of obturator foramen. So this is the obturator foramen, it forms the posterior margin of obturator foramen. Okay, then we have posterior border also. So if you see, this is the posterior border, this is the anterior border. See, this is anterior border. Okay, here all this part is the anterior border, this is the posterior border. Okay, now in the posterior border, this whole is posterior border. It is actually continuous with the posterior border of ileum. Okay, and it forms something called as ischial spine. So this is the ischial spine. So very importantly, this ischial spine provides attachment to a ligament and two muscles. Okay, it provides attachment to one ligament, and also it gives attachment to two muscles. Okay, what is the ligament that does it gives attachment to? It gives attachment to sacrospinous ligament. Okay, and you have two muscle origins, that is one coccygeus muscle that's originated here, and even the one more muscle is levator ani, gets originated here. So all these muscles are attached to, muscles and ligaments are attached to the ischial spine. Okay, as I have already told you, this ischial spine, it forms the, this is the greater sciatic notch, it forms the lower border of greater sciatic notch, and there is lesser sciatic notch also, it forms the upper border of lesser sciatic notch. Then in the lesser sciatic notch, here you have two muscles which arises on either sides of lesser sciatic notch, but lesser sciatic notch is not shown well here. So let me draw the other surface also. This is the inner surface, right? Now I'll draw one more surface for lesser sciatic notch for better visualization. Okay, so let me draw it. So this is the lesser sciatic notch. See, this diagram has not come well, but that's okay. Okay, so this is the lesser sciatic notch. This is lesser sciatic notch. Okay, on either sides of lesser sciatic notch, you have two muscles which are attached. That is two muscles. These are the two muscles which are originating from the on either sides of lesser sciatic notch. They are gemellus. They are gemellus superior is one, and the other is, this part is gemellus inferior. Okay, these two are arising from the lesser sciatic notch. Okay, this is the obturator foramen also. This is the acetabular surface. So that this is the outer part. Okay, next if you see, it has a lateral margin also. Okay, this lateral margin forms the lateral border. This lateral border forms the lateral margin of, this diagram is not good actually, because this should come something like this. I'm sorry about it, this diagram is not good. Okay, anyways, this is the ischial tuberosity. Okay, to this ischial tuberosity there will be the lateral margin which is attached. Okay, lateral borders. Okay, now then we will see the surfaces. I'll draw the second. Okay, this time I'll draw, in the surfaces you have three surfaces actually. We have femoral surface, we have dorsal surface, and we have pelvic surface for the body of ischium. Okay, so first we will see the first surfaces. Okay, Let me first draw the two. Both I'll draw here one by one after the other. You have like this. Okay, this is one, and you also have the other one. Okay, now this is the obturator foramen, and this should be this side. Okay, so let me tell you the surfaces. Now first we have femoral surface. So in the femoral surface, there is obturator externus and quadratus femoris.
Thank you and thank you for watching.